cargo.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Gudo back from 2ToBase. I'm here with my buddy Nathan Lovett, Mr. Kybers from the 2ToBase team. How's it going, Nate?
Yeah, good, man. How about you?
Feeling good. I am starting my 10-day vacation today, so I'm super energized. Yeah. I know we talked about getting this video recorded and out pretty much throughout this week, but I finally mustered up the energy to be able to hone in and get this set up for us. Yeah, so let me kind of go through what we're going to talk about today. I'll switch my screen here. Yeah, so on the topic side, we want to talk about the Jacksonville PQ that happened last weekend. We had quite of a showing from our team. I believe we had 10 team members out there. It was a 62-person event, and we actually we showed out. It was a lot of fun. Let me flip through some photos here, actually. Well, before I go on, other topics, we want to talk about some of the Set 8 early take stuff. I have a bad habit of doing too early testing when these spoils start coming out. So I've had some time to mess around a little. I like to be the first one to get the 411 and start feeding a lot of misinformation and excitement around the new set. So I tend to be the guy to be the first one to start hitting some games and trying out some stuff. But we'll talk about what I'm feeling with the set, what you're feeling with some of the spoilers, and then we've got some 2ToBase updates as a team, new team members, as well as a upcoming 2ToBase Florida event that I've been sort of secretly planning in the shadows. Yeah, super excited to get down with you, Nate. Let's get into it.
Let's dig in.
So we got some photos on the screen. It was super fun, and I want to shout out Risa, our buddy Sean's partner, who has just been not only just at the event but at locals as well, taking pictures, being involved and really being that. I don't want to say mother figure to the team, but I don't want to make her sound too old, but just super cool, really friendly, and always catching great moments. If you can see the bottom picture there, we've got our one of our team members, Aaron, who showed up in a suit. He always shows up looking dapper. Always. And Sean on the upper right getting caught in the wild with Max. Me and Josh over there in the left picture, we were playing some early games before the tournament started and just having some laughs. And we caught a good team picture at the end.
That was such a good picture, man.
I know. I just wish my bald head wasn't as shiny, but it looks like a bowling ball. When I look at this picture, I just to take a moment to soak this one in. I've talked about this quite a bit on the channel, but me and Sean, Sean primarily starting the 2ToBase team, and then it starting sort of as I wouldn't say a joke, but when I approached him asking, hey, what's 2ToBase? And when I joined, I never thought we would get to this point, where we have a big group, you see the smiles, obviously we want to win, we want to do well at the tournament, but at the end of the day, we have a great family oriented team, and this picture really resembles it, I think. What do you think?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it showcases exactly what we're about. Mm-hmm. And it shows our growth. It shows, it's about more than just SWU, that's awesome. That's all you can ask for in a team.
No doubt. Yeah. I take a lot of pride in sort of our approachability as a team, and sort of how we carry ourselves. I think it's one of our, if not our best trait, and it just it makes for a really fun environment. At the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We want to win, but what's it all worth if you're not having a little fun?
Absolutely.
Max, one of our newest teammates, he is our newest teammate.
Yep.
Max, shout out to you, buddy. I know you're going to watch this. Max joined recently, I would say even within the last month. Maybe a little bit more than that. But
it's been a month and some change. It hasn't been too long. It feels like longer because, he just dove headlong into it and he embraced the team embraced just the growth in the game, because he is a newer player to the game, but you wouldn't tell just by his excitement level and how invested he's been.
Yeah, he's had a lot of time to be able to soak in the game, learn the game. It's funny, when we were doing Twin Suns, we played a little Twin Suns recently, and like one of the decks I was playing, the Dooku Asajj Twin Suns deck, had the Super Laser Tech. And when I played it, he had to read it, and I looked at you and I was like, dude, he just had to read Super Laser Tech. And God, just good laughs with Max, and it's so cool to see like a new player, not only a new player but a new teammate, join and be so like obsessed with the game. And sadly, he does have to go travel for some work, and he'll be moving to Kansas, so we're gonna have 2 to base in like 4 different states now, which is pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
So Max, you're gonna hold it down up there for us, and we know you won't be gone forever. But shout out to you, Max, for being newest teammate, and just having a big heart for the game. And yeah, it was a great time. So let's get into a little bit of the actual tournament itself. So we did have 2 team members in the top 16. That'll be you and Mr. Aaron here on the screen. He did get in top 16. I think he got 12th. I'm not sure exactly where he landed, but
that sounds right.
Yep. And he brought Boba Data Vault. So shout out to you, Mr. Mustache Man. We love you for making our hats. Always being a good vibes guy, local player to us in Orlando, and very crafty. You see, he's got our 2 to base token that he turned into a pin.
Dude, he was styling.
He showed up dripping with the Buc-ee's cup, and that I'm gonna botch the name of that bag, and he's gonna get on my case about it. But super sick briefcase. And of course, we got you, my man, holding it down for us. We tried so hard not to hover over your games in like the latter part of the top 8, and then like just like the end of Swiss. Obviously, I know you were like, oh man, Nate, I want to hear you talk about how you were in the line. Tell me about when you showed up to the store. You look so frantic. Tell me about your POV when it came to like picking the final deck.
I was frantic because in full transparency, I had Boba Lake Country and Lando Lake Country fully sleeved up and in my bag, and I did not decide on a deck until 3 minutes before I checked into the tournament.
So
and part
crazy.
of that was wanting to see what the field looked like on the day. I did not have as many reps into soft and hard control decks with Lando. I knew that there was going to be Lando mirrors, and I felt pretty comfortable into the mirror. I had some reps on that, but there was a significant amount of control at the PQ, and though I didn't see a Dedra or an Aura on the day, I would have been more uncomfortable in that matchup because I didn't have as many reps on it. So I ultimately decided to go with Boba because of all of the indirect damage and whatnot. It positions you well into control style decks, and then while Lando is favored in the Lando Boba matchup, it's not a absolute blowout. You can definitely beat Lando. I mean, I beat a Lando and I lost to a Lando on the day. So I felt pretty good about the deck choice. It ran well all day, and I had fun playing it. And it was the first PQ that I've played where I ran a villainy leader. So that was fun.
That's exciting. You know me, I love my villainy, so I support it. So on the deck, or on the topic of kind of where the top 8 landed, we had quite I'm gonna just call it a sweaty field. If you look at the top 8, it's a bunch of Lando Lake Country. Notably, we've got Crispy, who ended up, we've got not Crispy, but Crispy was there playing Dedra as a sneaky kind of pivot. But we got Reflex, so Andrew Cox getting 3rd place, and then we have from the ECL team Wes Wagner, Shadowfax getting 7th. So just a sweaty top 8, and Thrawn Spawns. Yeah. I was just about to say, like, the Thrawn Spawns kids and the family that is just taking over sort of the Florida scene with just how good they are at this game, landing in 2nd place there. And yourself in 4th. So, like, We'll talk a little bit about top 8 first, and like how you felt going into that, and then we'll actually look at your tournament run and sort of what you went up against, and then give you some time to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So not to jump ahead too much, but I was able to draw into top 8 because I was undefeated leading up to the final rounds of Swiss. So I
let's go to that screen first,
yeah.
And then we can go on the list part. We'll go backwards a little. So let's go on.
Sure. So that being said, because I drew it, I actually came into top 8 as a lower seed than those that had to win that final round of Swiss. So my first matchup in top 8 was ironically into the only other Boba in the top 8, and it was a mirror match. And I found that funny that out of the top 8, the only 2 Boba players, of course, had to play each other first round. But I felt like I actually played that match really, really well. It was Kieran was the other Boba player, and he's a really awesome dude. But I feel like I sequenced things really well. In game 1, I ended up keeping a topple in my hand rather than putting it in the row, and I played it on 5 to wipe all of its space. And so he had nothing to flip Boba onto, and I was able to flip Boba and Cinta into an aggressive the following round. And then game 2, I just went all space and took a bunch of indirect at the start, but it didn't matter because when I got at the Boba flip, I had so much gas, I was able to close out the game really, really fast. And then in the semifinal match, it was felt like a game of inches. It was a really, really fun match. I lost, but I felt really good about it. I don't feel like, and thinking about it after the fact, there's definitely probably some micro decisions I could have made differently, but I don't feel like I made any blowout mistakes that cost me the game. I felt like game 1, I won very handily. Game 2, I knew he was bringing in a lot of sideboard tech. He brought in 3 blue aces, 2 commandeers, and 2 jams. I knew that was coming in from his sideboard just from reviewing his deck list. Yeah. And he found the commandeers, he found the blue aces. And that
was hard to watch, yeah.
And then he found it again in game 3. Yeah, my draws were really bad in game 3, and then he told me after the match that his opening hand, he had 2 blue aces, and then by the end of the game, he had 2 commandeers in hand as well. So it's like he was holding the stuff to counter me the entire game.
Yeah.
That being said, it still came down to 2 HP. He had me when he finished me with lethal, I had him at 32 on base. So it felt like truly a game of inches. I think in hindsight, the only things that I may have potentially done different, and this is kind of a call out to other Boba players, is when they're bringing in tech like Commandeer and Blue Ace, I honestly might have full pivoted to the ground, and rather than playing space, really focused on playing your 000, focusing on ground units to kind of make the cards that they're holding in their hand teching for you dead, and then pushing really hard in the ground. Because you have stuff like Charge with Treason to deal with their rows when they play it early, and then still keep pushing. And then game 2
too.
You could game 1 in Swiss when I played Reflex, he was doing right to control my units. So going into the flip turn, I had a completely empty board, but all of his units had damage on them. So I just flipped over to the ground and played topple anyways, and still was able to wipe the board. And that was enough gas to to push me forward to stabilize. Yeah. And that was another game where I got a 2-0, but it did not feel like it wasn't a blowout by any means. It was very tight, very close. Any game into the really great players like these guys, as well as a deck like Lando, it's not something you could take lightly. The only other thing that I feel like a learning experience for me with this being my first top 8, top 4 is the time difference. I definitely didn't want to be in a situation where game 3 came down to like a draw type. It's not a draw on top 8, but where it's like a who has most damage on base, or claiming initiative thing. So I decided to scoop game 2 when I felt like it was going very downhill for me. When I maybe could have given it another 5 minutes, of trying just to top a Devastator or an aggressive negotiations to see if maybe I could flip the script.
Yep.
But that's micro things that I'm okay with that learning, and I'm okay with the decision I made there, just because I had so much damage on my base at that point. I didn't really have the gas to close out, so I felt like it'd be better to go to game 3 to see if I could get in a better position with better draws, which did not happen, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a blast in top 8. It was really cool to sit at top tables for the first time. My goal was to make top 8, so to be able to get to top 8 and then make it to the semifinals and have a really strong semifinals game. I was very, very happy.
Yeah, no, looking at your tournament path here on the screen, round 1 you open with a Vader Yellow. So was that JTL?
Not Pilot Vader. No, if it was Pilot Vader, I would have felt much different.
Well, you got that one pretty easy, and then you ended up with Andrew Cox second round, which is pretty crazy on
that was that tight match
the ECL deck. And then Obi seems to be like, that deck well, and then it looks like you went 3 games, but you took it. And then Chewy, who Solo from shout out to Solo, my buddy from Miami, who's on the Late Night Gaming team.
Yep.
Running the rogue, sort of, I'm gonna call it rogue deck, but in this event it was definitely rogue. We only had a few Chewies. One of them was our teammate Ryan, and then Solo here. Looks like you got that one pretty convincingly, and then you ended up drawing against the Thrawn Spawns kids, which is probably a good idea, honestly.
I was glad we were able to draw, because I knew I'd see Lando in top cut, so I didn't want to play into them to have to potentially immediately play into them again. So I was glad that we were able just to kind of draw in and also just take a breather leading into the top. And then, the match with Solo, that actually, game 2 I got very handily, but game 1 he had me at 27 damage on base, and I think I had his base damage at like 5. But I knew kill the Chewy and play to the late game, play to stabilize as soon as Dev hit the board, and I was able to just start putting all indirect damage on any unit that he played while pushing 9 to base. I was able to flip the script on game 1 and make a pretty big comeback.
That's crazy, yeah, and he's a notable opponent.
He's a very good player.
I remember back in first couple of sets, he was on Sabine ECL and just always showing in tournaments, and shout out to Late Night Gaming. Exciting run. It was really cool to see you go up there and represent for the 2 to base team. We were all so proud of you, and then hanging out afterwards and getting Mexican food was great. Such a good vibe. We'll go over your list real quick if you wanna just blitz through this.
I can blitz through it. I mean, 90 to 95% of the list is probably consistent with what any other Boba Lake Country player is going to run.
Yep.
I'd say the key notable callouts for me is I had more upgrade hate in the main board. So into my Obi matchup, that came in really clutch when he was dropping a bunch of sabers. That came in really clutch with the Chewie matchup. With him on the Alliance outpost, I was able to defeat the shield that he put on with System Shock and then do another damage. So that was great. That way I could... he couldn't protect his Chewie. I was able to get it off the board pretty quickly. Decimator of Dissidents. That's one that has not been run in every Boba list, but one that I actually really liked because it can act as a 3 or a 4 drop. If you do indirect damage, then you get to play it for 1 cheaper. In hindsight, one of my lessons would be I honestly would probably prioritize playing that 4 or 3 over something like a droid missile platform that hits a little harder because you can't blue ace it and kill it immediately.
I was gonna say it's got that 5 HP to live through the blue ace, which would have really helped you in some of those situations.
That game 3 and the semifinal, I was looking for Decimator or for the shuttle ST that comes in shielded, and I just didn't find it. Other than that, really, it's pretty standard. I don't think this list would be too shocking to anyone. My sideboard plan was really go up to a 2 of or a 3 of a card depending on the matchup. Arvel, a 3 of, obviously, for any credit deck.
How did that work out for you on the not to cut you off, but on the Arvel part, playing against the Landos, Is he game breaking against Lando? Is it like there's this very specific time you have to play it for it to make an impact?
Here's the thing. They're going to be able to get their credit. It doesn't matter. Arvel is not going to keep them off of a credit the whole game. It's more of keeping them off Liberty on 6, so that you can at least get in a swing or two with Boba.
Yeah.
So
that's what I figured it was in there for. I mean,
I when in the game against Reflex, I just played Arvel Skeen at 5 plus like a 2-drop, and he didn't have a credit yet, so it was one of those things where if he went to make a credit, I would just snipe the credit. So he played Depa to just ambush and kill the Skeen, and I'm fine with that because then that means I have the rest of that turn to do whatever I want to do, and then make a plan to answer Liberty when it drops, or hopefully at that point, which in game 1, this what happened is by the time he was able to play Liberty, I played Devastator. Cinta, I had one more Cinta in the sideboard just because there were some games where, especially into like Control, I'd rather find Cinta than Topple because they don't really have a unit on the board, and I'd rather have the action sheet economy. Shuttle ST is very good into the Obi matchup. I brought that in game 2 and game 3 to steal their experience. One of the changes that I would make to the deck is I would put a 3rd aggressive in the main board. I think if I would have found aggressive in the last game of the semifinal, I might could have closed that match out in my favor. And then it's when we finished the game, I was kind of thumbing through my deck and I saw that my two aggressives that were in my my deck were at the very bottom. So I was never going to see them. Collateral damage
can't even
is
blame
for
it on being data vaulted because you're in Lake Country.
Yeah. Collateral damage comes in for Control, or for Lando for when they go Faith in Your Friends. You're able to just kill both spies, and that really puts them back. Commence the Festivities was really specifically targeting the Liberty play. So if I felt like I was in a position where I didn't need to kill Liberty and I could be the aggressor and I could close out the game in a different way, I would just swing through the Liberty, whether it was Bobo on a ship or Dev. And that came in pretty clutch in my game in Swiss. And then I put one planetary main because I didn't want to overly tech for Control because the deck does pretty well into Control on its own. But I did just want to have one planetary to push a lot of damage if they played like an SRI or something, and then bring in the other 2 post board. So that was really my sideboard plan. I won't talk about the deck too much more at length. It's pretty consistent with what most people are running in Boba Lake Country. I think the main thing is just this version is incredibly consistent. I like the Data Vault version more in the sense of like I love Craving Power, and I love the units you get to play in that are really fun, the green units, but this version just felt far more consistent in testing, which is why I went with this, and I was really pleased with the results.
Yeah, no, it's solid deck. I mean, obviously, hey, even going into the new set, probably still going to be a good deck. Like, this is going to be one of those decks that's good until that next rotation happens. I know that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. The tournament was a great run. Man. It was a great time, and I guess for now that pretty much wraps the competitive circuit for this set. I think for most of our team. Up until Worlds. I know I believe some of us are going to Worlds, and then we just have like some local showdowns and cool like locals going down that we'll still be participating in. But now, for me,
let's get to the stuff you're really excited about.
What I really wanted to talk about. No, I'm kidding. I love talking about the PQ and great run on it. But next, we'll talk about Ashes of the Empire. We've obviously been seeing a lot of spoils. With the way my job and work goes, I'm trying to record as much as possible, mostly doing streaming, but during new set spoils, I always drop a spoil review. Right now, we'll just go through like sort of a snapshot of early feels of the new set. I'm not going to go into too detail about every single card spoiled. There'll be a separate video where I go through more individual card depth. But let's talk a little bit. So these are our spotlight leaders. I have been testing way too early at testing both of these. First, I tested Palp because Palp just is my favorite, probably one of my favorites. Yeah, like he's not like my favorite Star Wars character, just in SWU he just ended up being like that style that I really enjoy. So obviously had to try him first. Feeling pretty good. His ability, there's times where you wish like the unit didn't have to be exhausted. He's a 7 deploy 4/8 who when you action him exhaust, you get to choose an exhausted friendly unit and give an advantage token to it for each other friendly unit. So like if you have 5 units, you can put 4 tokens on an exhausted unit. There are turns where you just blow out a deck and you end up putting like 8 advantage tokens sometimes, and you just win the game. But it's really weird because he's a 7 deploy leader, but the best way I've found to use him is like an aggro
Swarm.
strategy. Yeah, Swarm.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to say, like, is he just too late of a deploy? Should they have made him like a 5 or 6 deploy? I don't know yet. I haven't tested enough with him, but so far he's been okay and he's feeling pretty good. He's definitely fun. And then we have Luke, who's also 7 deploy 6/7 in blue hero, and when a friendly unit's attack ends, which means either you're attacking the base or a unit, you can exhaust them to heal 1 damage from the unit. This deck has felt absolutely broken. Or this leader rather, and specifically in Data Vault is what I've been messing with, and I'll tell you right now, he's going to be either A or S tier. There's a lot of times where if they drop a 2/4, you drop a 2/4. Historically, you're able to trade it out. You don't trade out; you actually live in that trade. So a lot of times they just end up swinging into your unit, and they swing into your base. But your whole thing is you're going to be healing like crazy all game. So you don't really care what they're doing to your base most of the game, unless it's like a turbo aggro deck where you kind of have to drop your sentinels in the way. But man, so far between these 2 leaders right here, Luke is definitely, in my eyes, going to be one of the best leaders. What are your early thoughts on sort of what you're seeing? I don't know if you've tested a lot, but
I haven't done any testing, but just in everything that I've seen in our Discord and just like looking through the card pool, Luke is kind of nuts. And I'm sure we'll get into this. Only other one that I've seen is on par with that I think could be really nuts is the Mandalorian. But out of the 2 spotlight leaders, and also just because I love Luke as a character, I'm very excited to dig in and test with him and see what a good I mean, obviously Data Vault makes sense because with him deploying late, you kind of need time for him to come out, especially with the lack of ramp that we have in the game right now. Mm-hmm. But once he flips, it's like if you can't deal with him, it's just a problem.
Yeah.
So I think Luke is going to be really, really strong.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been feeling good. I love that 2 spotlight leaders are playable. I'm not gonna say Palp is amazing yet. Don't know yet. We still have so many cards that have to be revealed. So that might change in a couple weeks when we get more spoils. Then we got some spice. So first set where we have a leader's front ability that is blank. So Grogu, cunning hero leader who deploys when you play a unique unit that costs 4 or more. If he's ready, you can deploy it. So obviously he's going to be ready because you don't have a tap ability on the front. So when you play that 4 cost a unique unit, in my eyes, it's a could be a Chirrut, could be a Typho, and then you've got a Sentinel in front of your 0/3, and then on the other side of him, I believe it's I don't have it on screen, but when you swing with a unit, the defender gets -1 attack, and then your unit gets +1 attack.
+1, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But I mean, I not gonna lie, I've played against a couple blue versions online, and he's kind of scary.
Someone's gonna make some busted something with this. It'll probably be Crispy, but
shout out to Crispy for being the local brewer of crazy rogue stuff. And then they just dropped the ECL team. Crispy just dropped a video on
his rogue video. Yeah, y'all go watch it.
Yeah, go check it out. Yeah, so Grogu, really tricky because if you think about it, it's kind of like a passive, sort of like the Lando Sentinel unit, or like even like Chirrut. Like if you put Chirrut out with this leader, I mean, it's kind of like buffed extra because you get the -2 using the Force, and then Grogu's ability allows you to like make it even harder, so -3 on the unit. So it just like throws the math off, and
Yeah.
I got smoked by one online. Again, very early testing, so anyone watching, don't be too critical on what you're hearing with this testing stuff, because it's been very early. But so far, I can see him getting spicy.
Have you seen the showcase? The
showcase is amazing, and it's definitely going to be. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a Chase showcase for sure, especially because I think he's going to be playable low key. I mean, devs obviously put in enough testing to say, like, all right, his deployability is so broken, we cannot give him a front ability. Like, they probably tried to and decided, like, he's already broken enough, because there are times where in the testing I've played against it where I'm like, this is low-key annoying, because you don't want to waste an action or a card to, like, kill a 0-3. You just don't want to do that.
Right.
But then, like, through the game, if you don't deal with him, which you're going to have to deal with him pretty much every turn, it gets to the point where, like, you can't put any attention on him. You just have to try to win the game with him on the board. So, sneaky good on the Grogu leader. And obviously, we have the Mando next to him. And he's in Aggression Hero, deploying on 6 as a 4/6. Stats aren't very good, but I will say this. His ability is amazing. There's really no other way to describe it. When you take the initiative, you can pay 1 to draw a card. We have had draw card abilities in the past on leaders, like early Cassian leader. I can't think of the other ones right now, all of them, but hasn't been that successful. But in some early testing, a lot of people seem to be looking at blue in this, obviously because you want to have access to the Mando unit, the new legendary 5/4 shielded unit for 4, when basically does what Queen Amidala does, where you can redirect damage and just use Mando's shield to absorb all of it. It has been so game breaking. Like, if anyone's looking at that Mando unit card, like, this card looks okay, it is insane. Especially with the Anakin Skywalker unit that you can play the very next turn and give Mando his shield back. So it's just like feeling really good. And a lot of people are looking at aggressive negotiations with this Mando leader. I think that's like the one-way street with him. I don't believe that's the only route you can go. Obviously, he's in red, so you're gonna have access to it. But like, I had a guy swing for like 19 with him. He had 1 million cards.
Lord.
Yeah, using the new Dr. Pershing, which is just blue. So he can go in hero cards now, who's when he attacks, if he's got 3 or more HP, you draw a card. So like, who wants to swing in a 0-4 unit? Nobody. So a lot of times you're like not trying to put attention on the Dr. Pershing, but they end up drawing so many cards with this Mando deck. So like, if they're not using aggressive, they have like a Hammerhead that kills anything. You deploy your leader, they play a Hammerhead, and you just lose the game. He's going to be good. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I know Carlos is excited.
Then we've got a splash of some hot cards. But last we've got the new Grogu unit card that when you take initiative, you can attack with a unit. I think Carlos did this edit on this card, but all these other leaders and units you see on the screen, they're some early spoils that are looking pretty hot. The Mandalorian unit I was talking about earlier, I put him in the middle of the screen just because it's just so game breaking. And then we've got Thrawn, who I can't decide if he's like going to be any good yet. Obviously the conditions to like get the restore to are tricky, but on the deploy you basically have Avenger ability. Well, even better because you get to choose the unit you defeat. And Whistling Birds has been pretty good in testing. And then Ahsoka is sneaky good because you can like Unveiled Might Jar Jar Binks. She has support on her, so you can do some really crazy action compression and like do buffs and do all these things right when you deploy, and it just becomes like a 1TK deck. But yeah, how you feeling about some of these the hot spice being spoiled?
I mean, I'm excited. I think anytime new mechanics are introduced into the game, it makes it fun all over again. It's a new opportunity to figure out different ways to play the game. I think it will elevate some of the leaders that we have currently. Typically what we see is that I'm not saying that there's not a chance that these new leaders just take over the game. We're kind of seeing that a little bit this set with decks like the Lando Lake Country. But I do think that a lot of current decks, like from Law, from Secrets, from JTL, are only going to be elevated by these cards. In addition to, I'm excited about these leader abilities. Sometimes leader abilities are a hit and miss. I think we're starting to see a good trend upwards in the sense like a lot of the power level of cards. Yeah, leader abilities feel pretty strong. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to do more testing as we get more spoils, and yeah, excited for set 8. And lastly, I want to bring up the 2-to-Base Florida charity tournament that I have been planning in the shadows. This event is going to be at the Haven Games in Castleberry. It's going to be, we're planning for August, so it's going to be during set 8, but I couldn't quite get it right after Worlds just because it's a tight window there. So we're looking at August for this event. It is going to be a donation-based entry for the event. So this is prize support is going to vary based on attendance and sort of how much we donate. The Haven is going to match a donation, which is really exciting. The Haven Games being our sponsor. Shout out to the Haven Games. Matt over there, the owner, is awesome and bit into the idea of doing sort of what I would assume is Florida's first Star Wars Unlimited charity tournament. I don't even know if there's been one anywhere, but there might have been. But I'm excited to sort of spearhead this with the team, do some planning up until August, and make this a really exciting event. I think it'll be fairly competitive, but at the same time, it is for a good cause, and yeah, it'll be a premier event. Not a whole lot to say there. Just really excited to run an event. The last one we did was a 3v3 event at the Haven, which had a decent turnout. I think this one will be have a lot of excitement packed around it just because it's for a good cause. And yeah, it's always a party at the Haven. So really excited for that. And the charity that we're supporting is the Nobilo Foundation, who is notable for a lot of their charity events in the past. And just something that called out to me. I have kids. I want to support kids. Another idea I had for this event was like, as a bonus entry, we could bring made decks with like bulk cards to like donate to kids who don't have the ability to, get into Star Wars Unlimited, or maybe we've got families that would like to get their kids into something like Star Wars Unlimited but don't have, the means to be able to do that. Just a lot of cool ideas we're still brewing with this event, but at the end of the day, it's definitely going to be geared towards the charity. It's all about the kids and folks who are in need. So that is what we're about. And I cannot wait to get this thing going with you, buddy.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a blast.
Well, that pretty much wraps up the video. I'm on a final thought screen here, but I just want to say, Nate, thanks for getting together with me, putting out a little video here. It's been a little while, so I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I am on a vacation, so we might see a couple videos here in the next week. But yeah, thanks for hanging with me. I'll tell the viewers, hey, if you like the content, we're trying to be more consistent. Hit that subscribe, that like button. We do have our Discord link in the bio where we talk about decks. We have a public deck thread, and we're always posting shenanigans in there if you guys want to come hang out with us and get to know us a little better. Yeah, Nate, any last words for the viewers?
No, thank you for having me on. Thank you, everybody, for listening, tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
We will see you on the next one. Peace.